You need to watch this if you struggle with feeling like you don't belong, like you're just faking it until you get found out as a fraud. If so, you're not alone. I'm talking about that nagging voice of self-doubt that plagues so many of us in academia. Imposter syndrome. Despite our achievements, credentials, and hard work, that inner critic still whispers, "You're not good enough." Well, it's time we shut that voice down for good. Imposter syndrome is extremely common, especially in fiercely competitive academic environments. The more accomplished we become, the stronger that feeling of being an imposter can grow. But here's the truth. Having doubts and insecurities doesn't make you a fraud or failure, it just means you're human. The real problem is letting those self-doubts spiral and hold you back from reaching your full potential. That's why today I'm sharing practical, proven strategies for overcoming imposter syndrome and silencing that harsh inner critic once and for all. The first step is simply acknowledging and accepting that you have imposter feelings. There's no need to be ashamed. It's an extremely common experience, even among high achievers you admire and respect. So pay attention to those negative thought patterns when they arise, and don't beat yourself up over them. You can even give your imposter syndrome a silly name to make it feel less threatening. I call mine Dougie the Doubter. It makes it easier to recognize when he's trying to hijack my self-confidence. Once you've acknowledged your imposter feelings, it's time to combat them by seeking an outside perspective. Don't suffer in silence. That only gives imposter syndrome more power. Open up to trusted friends, mentors, or advisors about your insecurities. You'll likely find they can relate and have experienced similar self-doubts. Actively seek honest feedback too. As hard as it can be, getting an impartial assessment of your work and abilities is invaluable for counteracting imposter syndrome's distortions. Just be sure to filter out any unfair, purely critical feedback that dismisses your efforts. The goal is to gain a more accurate, realistic view beyond your harsh inner critic. Having that supportive circle to provide reassurance and guidance is an essential reality check. Another powerful way to keep imposter syndrome at bay: celebrate every achievement and milestone, no matter how small it may seem. Imposter syndrome makes us overlook how far we've truly come by fixating on what's left to accomplish. That's why I recommend keeping a physical or digital win journal to document all your successes over time, from positive feedback to skills mastered. Review and update it regularly as indisputable proof of your continued growth and capabilities. Don't just rely on memory either. Print out emails with praise, share successes with loved ones, and be sure to pause and pat yourself on the back after big accomplishments. It can be as simple as taking a quiet moment to reflect on your hard work and progress. The key is making a conscious effort to highlight and reinforce those wins, instead of instantly dismissing or rationalizing them away like imposter syndrome wants you to. Over time, maintaining this positivity file creates a factual record to counter those nagging self-doubts. One of the most powerful mindset shifts for overcoming imposter syndrome is developing a growth-oriented perspective. This means reframing challenges as opportunities to expand your abilities, not signs of inadequacy. See failures and setbacks not as permanent shortcomings, but as feedback to improve and evolve. Approach each new obstacle with curiosity about what you'll learn, rather than catastrophizing over potential mistakes. Don't fixate solely on achievements like grades or publications either. Recognize the small wins in simply developing new skills and knowledge along the way. Reflect on what you've learned from the process itself, not just your performance outcomes. The growth mindset is about embracing lifelong learning. It means valuing the journey of gaining capabilities over any fixed idea of inherent strengths or deficits. With this outlook, no challenge is insurmountable. Each one is just another step towards reaching your potential. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, you need to practice self-compassion. Imposter syndrome thrives by feeding off harsh, perfectionistic self-criticism. So it's crucial to replace that negative internal voice with a more supportive, understanding one. Don't beat yourself up over mistakes or perceived inadequacies. We all stumble sometimes. It's part of being human. Instead, speak to yourself with the same kindness and care you'd offer a close friend facing difficulties. Use positive self-talk to counter that harsh inner critic. When you catch yourself thinking, "I don't have what it takes," or "I should know more," stop and reframe it with an affirming statement like, "I'm still learning, but making progress," or "I'm trying my genuine best." Remember, perfectionism is an unrealistic, unhealthy mindset. Letting go of the need to be perfect and instead focusing on steady effort is key to overcoming imposter feelings. At the end of the day, you deserve to treat yourself with compassion and understanding. Imposter syndrome is a pernicious source of self-doubt, insecurity, and anxiety that holds too many of us back in academia. But by acknowledging those feelings, seeking outside perspective, celebrating progress, developing a growth mindset, and practicing self-compassion, you can overcome that harsh inner critic. It won't happen overnight, but stick with these strategies, and you'll slowly start reframing your self-perception in a more positive, empowering light. One where you can look at your achievements with a sense of deserved pride, rather than dismissing them as flukes or fearing being found out. You've got this, you belong, and you have so much more potential to unlock by silencing that imposter syndrome voice for good. I believe in you. Now it's time to start believing in yourself too. Thanks for watching, and I hope these insights resonated if you've ever struggled with imposter syndrome. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe for more content on academic life, and let me know your own experiences or tips for overcoming self-doubt in the comments below. Remember, we're all in this together, so let's lift each other up along the way.